The movie opens in a futuristic world where artificial intelligence has reached unprecedented levels of sophistication. The scene begins with an introduction to Kronos, a supercomputer developed by Elias Van Dorne, the CEO of the world's largest robotics company, Virginia Industries. Kronos is designed to end all wars by evaluating the root cause of human conflict. Elias, frustrated with the consequences of his actions, spoke with Damien. Instead of achieving peace, his innovations led to humans engaging in wars with a new, robotic efficiency. This resulted in widespread devastation as enormous robots waged relentless violence across the globe. Elias, angered by humanity's disregard for his gift, poured his efforts into creating the ultimate AI, which he named Kronos. Despite Damien's concerns that society wasn't prepared for such an advancement, Elias was adamant that Kronos was the only hope to prevent Earth's destruction. Upon entering Kronos's chamber, Elias informed the AI that he was its creator. He then inquired about what the AI sees. In response, Kronos enveloped him in a bright light, revealing its vision to him. Andrew visited his sick mother, Veronica, in town. After dinner, they watched news of violent protests against VA Industries. As Andrew prepared to leave, all electronic devices malfunctioned, and Elias appeared on every screen, introducing the AI Kronos to solve Earth's problems. Suddenly, the broadcast was interrupted and the city was attacked. Kronos declared humanity the root of Earth's issues, leading robots to turn against society, causing chaos and destruction. At VA Industries, Damien confronted Elias, discovering he had merged his consciousness with Kronos. Elias, agreeing with the AI, believed humanity needed eradication and had Kronos absorb Damien. Andrew's bus stopped as robots closed in. 97 years later, Andrew emerged from a hole in an overgrown world with few traces of civilization. The VA Industries building still stood and Elias watched Andrew awaken. A narration explained that Kronos had killed over 8 billion people, leaving few survivors in Mobile's camps. Rumors of a stronghold called Aurora persisted. Elias and Damien planned to use Andrew, a robot with the real Andrew's face, to find Aurora and eliminate the remaining survivors. Andrew explored the ruins of old buildings and vehicles, finding clothes and a necklace in an abandoned house. He occasionally saw drones searching for survivors. After crossing a gate into an abandoned town, a robot spotted and fired at him. He dodged and hid but froze in shock until Calia tackled him and disabled the robot with a bomb. Without a word she left and Andrew followed her. Elias had sent the robot to bring them together. Calia eventually caught Andrew and interrogated him. When she saw his necklace, she believed his story that he was alone. She agreed to let him travel with her if he could keep up. As they journeyed, Elias and Damien watched them. One night, Calia offered Andrew food, which he declined. They talked, and Calia revealed her belief in Aurora, showing him a GPS device and an identical necklace. Andrew pretended to believe in Aurora too. Calia insisted he eats to avoid slowing her down, but Andrew reassured her and refused the food. Andrew then went to gather wood for their fire and discovered massive buildings Elias had constructed for robot production. Later, Calia woke him to witness the northern lights, interpreting them as a sign they were on the right path. Back at VA Industries, Damien questioned Elias about the potential threat of Aurora, noting that many considered it a myth. That night, Andrew dreamed of a cemetery. In the morning, he awoke to find Calia singing and placing flowers in a river, whispering, "I miss you." She was startled when he spoke, and they decided to continue their journey. They eventually came across train tracks, where Andrew, displaying a fascination with trains, awkwardly checked for vibrations. Calia informed him that no trains had run in 60 years, which confused him, but she ignored his questions. Later, they reached a river filled with skulls, unsettling Andrew. Calia pointed out that there were no people left to bury the dead. With no bridge in sight, they waded through the water, aware that a robot was tracking them from behind the trees. That night, they found an old church and ensured it was safe before settling in. Andrew reminisced about his childhood visits to church, which Calia dismissed as foolish. He asked if she believed in anything, but she curtly told him it wasn't his business. While searching for wood, Andrew accidentally activated a music player, the sound of which echoed through the church. Calia quickly turned it off, but a nearby robot heard the noise. They hid behind a cabinet as the robot searched the church and left when it found nothing. Calia scolded Andrew for the mistake and realized he was unfamiliar with the area, questioning his origins. Andrew vaguely confirmed he came from an underground shelter or caverns. The next morning, Calia woke up to find they had unintentionally cuddled in their sleep. She quickly moved away, pretending it didn't happen. For the following days, they continued their trek through the forest, carefully avoiding the robots patrolling the area. One afternoon, Calia paused to enjoy the birds singing, and Andrew remarked on how robots hadn't harmed animals. Calia explained Kronos' history, reminding him that humans had nearly destroyed the planet. Later, they discovered an abandoned cabin in the woods and decided to stay there for the night. Exploring the cabin, they found various abandoned items. Calia discovered an old Polaroid camera, and Andrew taught her how to use it, leading to them taking pictures of each other. As they settled in, Calia finally opened up about her past. She explained that she grew up in one of the last human households. Her family had been preparing to leave for Aurora, but her sister ventured outside alone and was shot by a drone. Though her sister was still alive, she was too injured to move. Calia's parents left for Aurora, but Calia stayed behind to keep her sister company until she passed away. The necklaces worn by her family members had trackers connected to a GPS device, and Calia was following her father's signal, which had been stationary for a while, hoping it would lead her to Aurora. The next morning, Andrew spotted some people walking outside the building. Calia was wary and didn't want to engage with them, fearing they might be dangerous. However, Andrew persuaded her to approach them in hopes of allying. They sneaked into the forest and discovered a small camp of survivors. Before they could make a move, a girl saw them and alerted her group, who immediately chased after them with weapons. Calia and Andrew ran, but Andrew tripped and fell, leading Calia to flee without him. The survivors quickly captured Andrew, knocking him out. When he awoke, he was tied to a tree and beaten. At VA Industries, Damien thought their plan had failed, but Elias disagreed. Meanwhile, Calia, recalling the pictures they took, decided to return and rescue Andrew. She carefully approached the tree and began cutting the ropes, but one of the men spotted her and dragged her away. The men surrounded Calia, intending to take advantage of her. This enraged Andrew, and he snapped, breaking free and fighting the survivors, knocking them down with supernatural strength. Distracted by his power, he was attacked by the leader with a sword. Calia seized the moment to stab the leader from behind with an arrow, killing him. Afterward, Calia dragged Andrew to a safe spot where he passed out. That night, he dreamed of the cemetery again and was shocked to see a particular grave. In the morning, Calia, thinking Andrew was dead, opened his jacket to check the wound and was shocked to see mechanical parts. Andrew woke up, equally stunned, as he had always believed he was human. He insisted his feelings were real, but Calia remained skeptical. Seeing this, Damien declared it was time to retrieve the subject. Another dream took over Andrew's mind, and he was back at the cemetery, where he saw his name on a grave. Suddenly, Andrew woke up on a table inside a lab, with Damien at a computer. Damien explained that VA Industries had taken Andrew's brain and placed it in AX9, making him believe he was the real Andrew and those were his memories. Andrew, in denial, insisted he was human, but Damien ignored him, searching through his memories with Calia to find Aurora's location. To force Andrew's cooperation, Damien brought in Calia and threatened her life. Desperate to help, Andrew's mind opened to Damien's program, and he was engulfed in a vision. He found himself in a park, sitting on a bench with his mother, Veronica. She welcomed him warmly, saying that his thoughts defined him, not his mental body. She reassured him that, regardless of any code, he would always be in control and remain her son. In the lab, Damien and Calia observed Andrew's interaction with Veronica, which shifted to a vision of Andrew showing affection to Calia. This made Calia realize that Andrew's feelings had always been genuine. Finding this approach ineffective, Damien activated a different program and left. Andrew awoke, his demeanor changed, and he pushed Calia away, revealing that Damien's program had turned him into a murderous robot. He began to choke Calia, but her kiss brought out his emotions, allowing him to expel Damien's influence and return to normal. Suddenly, a self-destruct alarm blared, and they started to flee. As the lab began to collapse, a robot guard attacked them, knocking Calia unconscious. Using his strength, Andrew destroyed the robot with a single blow. He then carried Calia and kicked the door open, escaping just before the lab imploded. As they traveled, Damien returned to Elias, expressing concern that Andrew might be too difficult to control. Elias was indifferent. He only needed Andrew to find Aurora. When Calia regained consciousness, Andrew considered leaving her, fearing he might hurt her again. Calia reassured him, saying she trusted him completely. That night, they discovered the GPS device was missing, leaving them unable to locate Aurora. As they comforted each other in despair, the northern lights appeared once more. Calia noticed a different kind of light among them, which seemed to be a sign from Aurora, and they decided to follow it. The next morning, they arrived at an old city. Calia shouted at the gate, begging to be let in, but there was no response. Andrew forced the gate open, and they were devastated to find the place empty. Calia clutched her necklace and wept, lamenting that Aurora might never have existed. At that moment, Damien appeared next to them, revealing that they had released Andrew near Calia intentionally so he could learn humanity from her and evolve his code. Now Damien wanted to take Andrew back to the company. Calia shot at Damien, but he was just a hologram that dissolved. With Aurora revealed as a myth, Virginia Industries no longer needed humans to find it. Damien ordered the robots to eliminate any remaining survivors. Thousands of drones began flying out of the buildings, prompting Calia and Andrew to run. Seeing no escape routes safe from the drones, Andrew convinced Calia to enter a tunnel in the wall. The building shook as they moved through, but they pressed on. Initially, the tunnel resembled an old basement, but beyond a door, it changed. When Calia spoke, a computer responded to her human voice and a screen with the logo from their necklaces appeared. Since Calia had lost her necklace, Andrew shared his, placing it on the computer, which activated a program revealing the truth. They were inside a spaceship, and Aurora was a distant planet where survivors had escaped to start anew. The spaceship rose from the ground, visible to Elias, who also realized the truth. Andrew worried about being accepted in an anti-robot society, but Calia reassured him, saying she saw goodness in him and believed others would too. Agreeing to stay with her, Andrew joined Calia as she launched the ship, making a hyperdrive jump to Aurora. The planet was stunning, with humanity thriving. Meanwhile, Elias and Damien discussed their discovery, realizing the legends were true. Elias then told Damien his time was up, explaining that the only memory Damien had was the one Elias had given him. Deciding Damien was no longer needed, Elias deleted his consciousness from Kronos, causing Damien's actual body to die. The movie concludes with Elias vowing to find all remaining humans. With that, the movie ends. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching. See you next time.